No one remembers pressing play. That's the real problem. The recording just appeared. Years after the fact, discovered on hard drives that had no business surviving what they'd been through floods. Fires, the simple grinding passage of time. The file label was cryptic. Just 2 words. 0 Antarctica, followed by bull shoals, and then final. A standard audio file. But when a few brave souls ran it through an analyzer, the waveform looked wrong. It was too perfect, too symmetrical. It didn't look like something recorded. It looked like something grown. And when you press play, this is what you hear. A low, breathing static, a voice from the static, filtered and distant, saying, "You stayed. That's good." Listeners who stay always get names. Then, and music starts. A slow funeral boogie. A phantom beat that crawls under your skin. The story goes that the Ozark Mountains were formed when something massive fell from the sky and missed its intended target. The mountains are the scar tissue left behind. The caves are like mouths, forever open but silent. When Bull Shoals Lake was created, it flooded entire towns, cemeteries, and countless stories. But water doesn't erase things. It preserves them. It holds them in a cold, dark embrace. And that's the world the alien walked into. He called himself 0 Antarctica, and he definitely didn't look like a savior. He looked like precision incarnate. His instrument, if you could call it that, unfolded in a series of impossible angles, a strange geometry that seemed to translate the very force of gravity into sound. He had a theory, a beautiful one, that music, the right kind of music, could stabilize anything. It could bring harmony to chaos. He was wrong. Some places, some deep-rooted things don't want harmony. They just want witnesses. And as he began to play, his voice layered and almost prayer-like, he said, "I hear you. I hear all of you." The hills didn't respond with music. They answered by tightening, by squeezing the air out of the valley. That's when the other musician arrived. He stepped right into the frequency, barefoot, bleeding from something unseen, but singing anyway. He was the hillbilly guitar dude, the troubadour. He was there to tell the truth, but the truth can only be told in one way, through stories that hurt just enough to stay remembered. He picked up his steel-string guitar, and in a voice that was half-spoken, half-sung, he began, "This town don't die. It just gets quieter, till the radio's got to scream for it." His guitar didn't create an echo. It did something far stranger. It duplicated. Every chord he struck created another version of the song somewhere else in the world. One version would appear inside a passing truck's radio. Another would surface in someone's dream miles away. Another, inside the mind of a person who hadn't even been born yet. The music was becoming a virus. The voice from the static, the boogeyman, returned, laughing this time. The sound breaking up as if the signal itself was cracking. "We're past DJs now," it chuckled. "We're infrastructure." And that's when the listener crossed over. It wasn't a demon, not a god, just pure, focused attention given for long enough that it became something else entirely. A presence. The signal, now alive, began to feed. It fed on memories. It fed on regret. It devoured unfinished songs and unspoken words. People who heard the broadcast, even for a moment, started dreaming in stereo. Some woke up humming melodies they couldn't name and couldn't stop. And some never woke up at all. But their radios, left on by their bedsides, kept playing. 0 Antarctica saw the chaos he'd unintentionally unleashed. He tried to shut it all down, his voice now desperate. This world is recursive. It eats its musicians, but it was too late. The Ozarks, the ancient energy of the place, pulled him apart musically. It stretched his sound across decades, scattering him like notes on the wind. He managed to escape, but he wasn't whole anymore. They say that somewhere out in deep space, his species can still hear it, a faint, ghostly signal from a small green planet, the sound of Arkansas leaking through their stars. The troubadour knew he had one last verse to sing, and he knew it would cost him everything. He leaned into the microphone, his guitar ringing with a final, heartbreaking clarity. If you hear this, it's already too late. The song don't end. It relocates. As the last note faded, the shack he was broadcasting from didn't collapse down. It collapsed inward, folding into itself. The radio tower twisted and folded into a single, impossibly low note, a frequency too deep for human ears to register. The boogeyman vanished mid-laugh, finally free. Or perhaps finally everywhere. A long, deafening silence. And then one final soft click. A whisper right next to your ear, intimate and terrifyingly close. Thanks for listening. They say if you play that file, the final broadcast, alone in a quiet room, nothing happens. It's just a strange audio recording. But if you play it out loud, late at night, near trees or a body of water, the atmosphere in the room begins to change. It feels fuller. The corners seem more crowded. And your own memories, your most private thoughts, suddenly don't feel like they're entirely yours anymore. Because what you just heard wasn't just a story. It was a test broadcast. And now you're part of the signal. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories from the static. Stay safe out there.